Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome back. It's been a month, maybe? It's been a long time, and I'm sorry about that, but I figured in my last video about the Taxman remix got a lot of views, and it was interesting because I thought, what? I got a lot of views, so I gotta follow that up with a new video while a huge truck just goes through my street. So wait a minute, please. Okay, this is way better. Not gonna cut this off. And yeah, I thought, what? I'm gonna record another video, and then on the day after I did do that. I recorded another video, but it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like I wanted to talk about the subject. It felt like I was just recording a video for the sake of recording it. So I'm only going to record when I want to, when I actually want to. And today is one of those days because I got my hands on the Beatles Revolver box set ahead of time. And some of you may have also gotten their hands on it. Please don't ask me to send you anything because I won't. I'm sorry. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the first part of the outtakes. So there are two CDs or two LPs of outtakes, and I'm gonna talk here about the first one, the first CD. And before we start, I just gotta say, this is a great book. I think I've talked about it before. It's the Beatles recording sessions, the complete Beatles recording sessions by Mark Lewison, and it documents everything. Every single day at Abbey Road is documented here. Just fantastic. And lots of things I'm going to talk about here are backed up by this, or I got it straight from this book. So if you haven't got it and you're a huge Beatles fan, do yourself a favor. This is one of the greatest Beatles books of all time. And I'm sick, so I'm going to drink my beer here while I record it, because otherwise my voice is going to go to hell. Anyway, without further ado, let's just roll on with it, right? I'm gonna read it here through my notes too, because I won't remember everything, but let's go. This is just gonna be a quick, I'm not gonna talk about it a lot, it's just some quick comments about it, because most of you probably haven't heard it. So, just to put a taste in your mouth, So the first thing is Tomorrow Never Knows Take One, which was already released on as a single, right? And on anthology, so it has been released twice. It was released as a single this year for the Revolver box set. So, and to me, it sounds great. It's more ethereal sounding, and John Lennon's voice has that effect that Jeff Emerick famously said that John asked him to make his voice sound like he was on top of the Himalayas. He was a guru on the Himalayas, so he did that. And his voice throughout this take sounds like it, and it's great. And the drums are very similar to the final mix. They do sound like a drum loop, which was the idea at the end, but there's no bass. I wonder what Paul is playing on the take. I couldn't find it here, actually, but I think it's some sort of keyboard or something. I don't know, I could be wrong, because John is clearly playing the guitar, George is playing the guitar, John is singing, and Paul, I think, is playing something like a keyboard. Next one, Tomorrow Never Knows, Remix 11. Remix 11 was a remix that was a work in progress remix, really. And it was, as a mistake, released in the UK. So the first 600 mono LPs in the UK were released, only the first 600 with this mixing, and it has some different effects and tape loops in the tape loop effects. And when John starts singing, turn off your mind, relax, and flow downstream, the turn off doesn't have the effect on his voice. So it's weird. It sounds different in that sense, that little beginning of the song. Number 3, Got to Get You Into My Life, first version, take 5. We've already had that on Anthology, and I think it's cool. It sounds great. Sounds good. It sounds better than actually the Anthology version. Just a better release, I'd say. The sound is a tad bit better. Not a lot though. I could say that for all the Anthology versions. All the versions that have appeared on Anthology are a little bit better. And it's different, it's slower, it's maybe more vibey because of the harmonies. The harmonies are pretty different, and it sounds good. But I'd rather listen to the version we have right now, right? Number 4, the 4th track, is the best one out of the batch. Out of this CD, in my opinion, it is the best one. And it is Got to Get You Into My Life, second version, a numbered mix mono. And it's an absolute highlight. They've just got the horn section, but they turned it into a distorted guitar, and it sounds great. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it sounds awesome. It sounds like a rock version of Got to Get You Into My Life, and it sounds great. The guitar is amazing, and it's great. I'm not gonna spoil anything else. Again, second version, Got to Get You Into My Life, take 8. This is the 5th song on the set list, on the track list actually, right? And it sounds like the backing track for the final song, so it's kind of like the final song, but it's got more guitars and less production. That's how I'd call it. And again, before I forget, I'm gonna tell you everything, give you a big review of the outtakes of Revolver in the coming days. Of course, the next video is going to be about CD 2 of the outtakes, but the next one probably is going to be about, what I think of the outtakes as a whole. Love You Too, take 1 mono. It's George on guitar. It sounds good. It's cool to hear it because it's almost like a demo. It sounds intimate because it's just George guitar and Paul harmonies, and the harmonies aren't that good actually. Paul is a master in harmony, but I don't feel like that was his greatest work, and it just appears a couple of times throughout the song. It didn't even have to be there actually. Love You Too, a numbered rehearsal mono. It's just George having fun on the sitar while they're rehearsing for the song. It's cool. I like some sitar, and it sounds cool. And George, I think, I don't know anything about Indian music besides the Beatles, but it sounds good. I don't know if he's considered a good sitar player. Maybe not. I think he's considered, mediocre maybe, but it sounds cool to me at least. Love You Too, take 7 is the same thing as the album version, but it's got Paul McCartney harmonies, which actually were removed from the mix. So it's the same mix from the album, but with Paul harmonies that, if I'm being honest, it sounds better without it, and I get why they took it out. Number 9, Paperback Writer. And it's fun. This one is pretty fun because it's takes 1 and 2, and that may seem like random takes, but it's not, because Paperback Writer was recorded with 2 takes. So we officially have released everything the Beatles recorded regarding backing tracks, right? Regarding instrumental versions of Paperback Writer. So take one has a break because somebody messed it up, and then take two is the final version, and that's it. It's Paul, John, and George on guitars. Sounds cool, sounds good, and that's about it. Rain, take 5. Actual speed. It's blazing fast. It's extremely fast. Ringo is a machine. Paul is astonishingly fast here too, but I think Ringo takes the cake as an amateur bass and drums player. I feel like the drumming is more impressive. But I've seen a musician on Twitter, which is probably the worst source someone has ever cited, but I'm gonna do it anyway. He said that he didn't believe it was the actual speed, which made me, pretty interested in finding that out. I mean, it is the actual speed, right? The Beatles wouldn't release it officially with the actual name, Actual Speed. It's called Take 5 Actual Speed, if it weren't the actual speed, right? So I think I'm gonna trust the Beatles on that one. Break for Beer, number 11. Rain, Take 5, Slow Down for Master Tape is the same thing as Take 5 Actual Speed, but slow down. And we have Paul vocals. John vocals. There's the Paul and George harmonies are missing. Also a tambourine that was probably played by Ringo. It was an overdub. Both of those things were overdubs. Number 12, Dr. Robert takes 7. It's the same thing as the album version, but it's got more instruments during the bridge. What do I call bridge here? It's the well, you're feeling fine section, and it's longer too, and actually got a piece of the book here that says at this early stage the song was 2 minutes 56 seconds long, but in remixing it was always edited down, so it's longer, but it was never supposed to be longer, I guess. The song was always supposed to cut at that time. We know that it ends. Last two songs, they actually have 3 versions of And Your Bird Can Sing, but they've separated. So 2 of them are on CD 1, and the last one is the intro to CD 2. And these 2 versions here, which are the last 2 that I'm gonna comment on today, right? They've already been released on Anthology, kinda, because track number 13 is And Your Bird Can Sing first version, take 2, which is like the anthology version, but without the giggle. And the giggle is on the next track. So let's talk about the version without the giggle first. And it's different. It feels, again, dreamier, in my opinion. It's got the spirit of the song, though. And the bass playing was okay. On this one was good, but I feel like the bass playing on the released version, the final version, I think that's amazing. I think that's like top-notch bass playing by Paul, just like most of his tunes back then. And that's it. And we have the version with the giggle, which is exactly the same thing as Anthology 2. And it's just a great version because it's Paul and John having straight up fun, right? And it sounds great, knowing everything they've been through, knowing, John's destiny, unfortunately. It's really nice watching them just having a laugh, And I think it ends really well, CD1. It was maybe well suited because it's a fun track, it's a memorable track, and it does wonders to end the CD on a high note, that's for sure. So yeah, these are my opinions about the first CD of Outtakes of Revolver. And before I go, I don't have my Revolver here. You guys, if you've watched more than one video of mine, you know that I like to get my LP version, my record of the album, show it here so I can do a thumbnail. But someone complained that on the last video that me having the album in hand, talking about the 2022 mix, made them feel like they assumed that I already had the album, the 2022 mix, which is kind of nonsense, I think. But anyway, it's fine. I have the t-shirt on, so that's probably the thumbnail here. And yeah, Revolver, what a great album. Tomorrow, if this video goes well, I'm gonna do the second part where I'm gonna comment on CD2, so of the outtakes, of course. So if you guys wanna see that, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and that's it. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you later.